Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the Neca Beetlejuice, Till Death Do Us Part, brown suit Beetlejuice. This is from the end of the film, where he was marrying the Winona Ryder character. This is the Target exclusive version that comes with the larger cardboard backdrop, sort of a cheap, crappy diorama. There is a regular version as well that is not exclusive to Target, and that one's going to be a little bit cheaper, and probably not come with anything at all. I didn't really feel like I needed this background diorama thing, but this is the first of the ones that I was able to get my hands on, so here we are. So let's take a look at the packaging. As you can see, Beetlejuice, Neca, Till Death Do Us Part. This is Beetlejuice in his brown suit. He has that very unique look to Michael Keaton. Green hair, white face, little ruffles on the suit. Backside completely blank. At the bottom, there is a barcode, if that helps anybody. So with no further ado, let's open him up. Alright, now that this figure out of the package, here he is with all the accessories laid out. And that was kind of a joke because he comes with absolutely no accessories. Sure, this Target version had this sort of cardboard diorama backdrop thing. You can only imagine how disappointing it would be to get the regular version with absolutely no accessories. And he could have come with something. Hell, at least re-release the accessories that came with the other guy, which is the sort of Book of the Dead and the little snake. Sure, he may not have used those exact items in this outfit, but it would have been better than nothing. What could he have come with? I don't know, I believe he had some sort of ring for her. I remember him reaching through his pockets, coming out with a worm and all kind of different stuff. I don't know, they could have found something. It's such a bare-bone release. And it's a re-release from a long time ago, so it's not like they spent the money on the sculpt or the paint job. That stuff was spent a long time ago. Still, either way, I've been wanting to add the brown suit Beetlejuice to my collection for a very, very long time, and I'm one of those people that didn't get him the first time around, and he's kind of expensive now, so this re-release is perfect for somebody like me. That being said, let's take a look at the figure. So, the face actually looks pretty damn good. The hair, he's got that little bit of mold stuff around his face, on his neck. I can definitely see Michael Keaton in the face sculpt. Maybe it's just because of the hair and the paint job and everything around it. The dark eyes, the smile, it all looks really good. He's got some of that gross stuff on his forehead too. Brown, old school suit. Got the ruffles sticking out his fat belly down there. Not sure what that thing is. I feel like it was something relevant in the movie. He's got nasty stuff on his hands. Look at those long fingernails. He's got a little wristwatch there. Interesting. Brown suit, no articulation whatsoever in the legs. The knees are completely stiff. Notice that old school line going down there. White dress shoes. So the legs are one solid piece. Looks like we have some articulation in the ankles. A little bit there. And then his torso is also one solid piece. It is a ball joint here, not traditional waist spool, so at least it does something. No articulation in the elbows either. Really, Neca, you couldn't have, I don't know, maybe made an ultimate version and charged a little bit extra for him. That would have been way better. But instead, they're going to cheap out and re-release the figures from, 20 years ago? And then make a couple new ultimates at the same time. Thus, double dipping and cashing in. They should have made the black and white suit version and this guy ultimates. They could have used some of the parts from this, but added articulation in the torso, the elbow, the knees, and they could have charged quite a bit extra. Still, they were lazy, cheap, and going for this little cash cow right here. And I don't necessarily blame them. Beetlejuice 2 is out right now, and it's sort of a hot property at the moment. And I'm sure these have all sold out in stores. I'm not going to lie, I haven't seen them hanging around Walmarts and Targets for very long, that's for sure. And a closer look at his face and head sculpt, which is one of the best parts about the figure. I think it looks damn good. They really caught the Michael Keaton likeness and expression in the face there. Like I said, I think the head sculpt and face is on point. So he doesn't come with any traditional accessories, but he has this cardboard backdrop. And at least it's thick, heavy-duty cardboard. It's not just some cheap junk. But the way it's shaped, it's diagonal and distorted, which kind of reminds me of the film. They had this doorway open up, which is a doorway to, I guess, like the afterlife or the death, the other world. And it was all contorted and distorted as well. And so the style or shape of this kind of makes sense. But it's horrible for action figure photography. Even if you have your phone sitting up and down, You either have to cut so much of this out of the photo to have it completely in there, or you're going to get the background behind this in the photo as well. And God forbid you're trying to do widescreen like I'm doing right now. Look how much is not in the actual screen. So like I said, it's this doorway. You can see the sort of bricks behind the outer wall. It's a thick type cardboard. It's not paper thin or anything. It has a small piece at the bottom, which sort of is bent and can allow it to stand up. On the back side, you do have this sort of punch out thing, so you can display it like a picture frame, and that supports it. You don't need to lean it against anything. But as a whole, it's a pretty damn useless background piece just because of the weird size and shape. If it had more of a wall extending outward, it would be more useful. If it was even just sort of a little bit better shaped like this, it could be more useful. But as is, I can't imagine using this for anything ever in the future. Maybe it can be added to another diorama. I don't know, but just the shape makes it almost useless for action figure photography, which is pretty much why anyone would ever want this thing. Specifically for widescreen purposes, this is how close you would have to get to Beetlejuice to have nothing else in the background completely filled in with this diorama. And if I wanted to turn the camera sideways and take an upright photo, kind of like what you do with your phone, this is how close I'd have to be with him. Like I said, I like sort of background pieces like this, but with the shape, it just doesn't help very much. What I would like to do next is compare this brown suit Beetlejuice to the original release, but I don't have the original release, so I can't do that. But I believe it's pretty much exactly the same. Maybe the paint job is ever so slightly different. Any of that would probably just be factory differences from 20 years later. But I'm happy to finally add them to the collection. Could use a Beetlejuice figure for so many reasons, although the traditional black and white striped one is the one that I wanted. And I have that one, and this one, so. Now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, standing about 6.7 inches tall, which can translate to around 17 centimeters. He is a little bit crouched. And for his articulation, which is definitely on the disappointing side, I'm really surprised Neca didn't invest a little bit of time and effort to turn this guy into an ultimate figure. They could make even more money, sell more units, charge a higher dollar, utilize parts from this guy, and just add some articulation, at least to the knees, elbows, my word. Give him more accessories, interchangeable parts. They could have done a lot. So, starting with his head. He can rotate side to side. He can look up and down about that far. Not bad. The hair obstructs it a little bit. Can not really tilt his head much from side to side. Shoulders, not a ball joint, goes out about 90 degrees. Up, down, around. Very disappointing arms. His wrists can rotate, and it's hinged as well. Torso is one solid piece. You can see that big old belly. It does have a ball joint, go forward and back. Rotate around as well. The legs, everything, the hips, the knees, one solid piece. Then he has these dress shoes. Notice he doesn't look like he's wearing any socks. It can rotate side to side, tilt rock at least a little bit, and forward and back the tiniest bit as well. So, sort of halfway articulated figure. I don't know. Could be better, that's for sure. Here's a look at Beetlejuice standing in front of the doorway, about to say his final vows. And like I said, if you wanted to fit this entire backdrop into a widescreen photo, you're going to catch so much of the background that's behind the backdrop. Now let's check them out. Next is some other action figures, starting off with some other Beetlejuice and Michael Keaton figures. So here's Neca's re-release of the brown suit Beetlejuice, next to Neca's re-release of the black and white suit Beetlejuice. I consider the black and white suit his iconic look, his main look of the film, even though he actually wore this a lot less than I realized. These are the only two figures so far that they released from Beetlejuice. They released these about 20 years ago, and they're re-releasing them today because of the new movie. And there are two other versions of Beetlejuice in the first film that are coming out, and they're both ultimate versions. One is the Bio-Exorcist version that's been showing up at Walmart lately, and then we have pretty much another version of the Bio-Exorcist Beetlejuice with the spikes out that comes with the diorama, which is a Neca store exclusive. Now, to my knowledge, they're not making any figures from the second Beetlejuice film, which kind of surprises me. I imagine if they were going to make any, they would have already put them out to coincide with the film. I really expected and Ultimate Beetlejuice 2 Beetlejuice. But, it is what it is. Here he is, next to a Neca, Michael Keaton Batman. Both movies from Tim Burton, both movies starring Michael Keaton, both movies awesome 80s nostalgia. Neca actually made 3 different versions of the Michael Keaton Batman: a video game version, movie version, and Kenner homage version. Here he is, next to all my McFarlane DC Multiverse Michael Keaton figures, some from the '89 film, some from the Flash film. Then, with the Mezco 112 Collective Michael Keaton Batman, and now with a couple of SH Figure Arts Michael Keaton Batman figures. So here are all my different Michael Keaton figures at this time, by Neca, Mezco, SH Figure Arts, and McFarlane. I believe the next one I'm going to get is going to be the McFarlane DC Multiverse Michael Keaton Batman with the sort of outstretched gliding type cape. Now, Beetlejuice isn't exactly your typical horror movie. It's like a horror/black comedy, but it's typically considered a horror film of some sorts. Here's Beetlejuice, next to some other Neca horror figures. These are some classic Universal Monsters figures. And here he is, next to some more modern horror icons: Freddy, Jason, Michael Myers, and Leatherface. And Beetlejuice is not exactly a clown, but with the sort of white skin, the green hair, he always reminded me of the Joker, always kind of gave me clown vibes, and some of his weird outfits. The black and white suit, he had this little sort of circus thing going on. I don't know, I always had sort of a clown vibe off Beetlejuice. Here he is, next to some other Neca evil scary clowns. We have the Joker, Kevin Spaulding, and a couple of versions of Pennywise from It. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, so we can see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix him with. Since he's a Neca figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his Neca brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from Neca Toys, all 7-inch scale. And now, with some Jack-specific wrestling figures, and some Diamond Select toys. Here's Beetlejuice, next to my toothbrush. And here he is, with some McFarlane and DC Direct figures. Then, with both some Jaspers and Mattel wrestling figures. And now, with some Mezco and Mattel DC figures. Next, with some Mafex and Hasbro Marvel Legends. And finally, with some SH Figure Arts and Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a cool Beetlejuice figure. He looks really good, the likeness, the detail on the outfit. But it's not that good of an action figure. Especially not to today's standards. 20 years ago, it wasn't even that good of an action figure. His articulation is very limited. He's a straight re-release from about 20 years ago, and his accessories are non-existent. And even the one accessory he has, which is the cardboard diorama background, which makes the figure cost about $5 more than a regular release like this, is not that good. If I were to rate this figure, I'm going to give him a 5 out of 10, which I think is maybe a generous rating for today's standards. 20 years ago, maybe he would have got a 7 out of 10, but released the same thing, which was subpar to standards back then, today is almost insulting. At least he does cost less than a typical Ultimate figure, but not by much. With the popularity and success of Beetlejuice, they should be re-releasing these as Ultimates, not straight-up re-releases, but who am I to criticize? Just the consumer. So this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.